What's up guys, Nolan here, and today I have to correct something I said yesterday while doing my best to explain what it actually means. Hopefully this will help anybody confused by this, and it's a good reminder to check out other creators out there, as I do miss things sometimes and make mistakes. So the TLDR is that the stash nerf I mentioned isn't just stashes, and BSG are testing something I'm confused about that involves the implementation of dynamic loot into Escape from Tarkov. Whatever is happening right now is supposed to move loot around and not make it disappear, since that's what dynamic loot is. However, people can't seem to find the good loot. The problem and the confusion is coming from we don't actually know if that really was BSG's intention with this specific change, and it might only be temporary or a bug, hence the confusion. All we have to go off of is a poorly written and very vague message from Fence and a couple comments from Nikita. There is a chance that this is all going to change in a couple days, so maybe take a break or focus more on kill tasks until it gets fixed or changed, or we actually at least know what's happening. Woods and Customs is supposedly really good right now if you want to check them out. Nikita has called this an event, but there is a caveat to that, which I'll explain in a minute, making this potentially a permanent change and not temporary. This adds to my confusion because eventually loot will get significant changes and it will be a big culture shock when it happens, and all of that is happening right now, but apparently it's not supposed to, or at least it's only temporary, and that just adds to all the confusion. That sums up where we're at right now, but the full story here is, again, that the stash nerf I mentioned yesterday is not all that is happening, as plenty of you guys pointed out in the comments and on Discord yesterday. Thank you for that. The reason I said that was Fence has used that exact wording before when he's talked about stashes, and the loot disappearing stuff actually happened before that message went out, so I thought they were two separate things or even a bug. Not to mention, why is the loose loot even there in the first place if people know where it is and are then stashing it elsewhere? Why wouldn't they just take it? It didn't make any sense for me. On top of this being one of the most vague messages I have ever read, since it does mean literally all of the loot in the game and not specific stashes or items. That's again very confusing to me and makes me wonder if what's happening is actually supposed to be happening. Now, we're pretty sure that this is BSG at least testing a system that they want in place for the fully dynamic loot integration based off of Nikita's comments yesterday. We just don't know what's working as intended and what isn't, so we don't know how to properly give feedback on it. Also, keep in mind Nikita says event in his comment, but he might not mean a special temporary event like what we've been getting with the bosses. He might mean it as a step towards the full integration that has lore tied to it. When they make big changes like that, they've mentioned they want there to be a real reason for it in the lore. So his mentioning of event could be this, making it not temporary. We'll know in a couple days if all the loot comes back. Theoretically, what's supposed to be happening is all of the loot spawns that we're used to are not supposed to be gone. They're just supposed to spawn those items less often. And items should be able to be found in new places. We just need to find them. For all we know, this actually is all a bug and nothing is spawning because we don't know where to look. People have been sharing shots and clips of finding high-ticket items, but they are mostly from boxes and bags, which doesn't really count as we don't think that's what would get affected by this change. Containers like gym bags and weapon crates have always had a big loot pool to draw from, and they likely won't change much because it gives us a reason to want to check each and every one of those bags and boxes. The only sort of leads that we have right now for the good loot in the game is Crack House on Customs and the new expanded areas on Woods. So if you're interested, you can go check those out for yourself. The next thing about dynamic loot is that it's dynamic. It changes. Even if your buddy found a graphics card or whatever in a tent at Scav Camp on Interchange, that doesn't mean it's going to be there every raid or every 10th raid. So that can lead to a lot of problems if there is a bug and we just wouldn't know if it's a bug or if it's intended or what, making this pretty much impossible to track over the span of a few days. Whether this is an event, a bug, a test, whatever, a more dynamic loot system is coming to the game. BSG want to make it more difficult to farm the maps and instead genuinely look for the items by actually looking around for them. So even if the loot goes back to what we were used to this week, the day will come where this is the new norm. Nobody's going to know where the good loose loot is, and we'll need to actually intelligently search for it. So keep that in mind if that is what has happened here. When working correctly, if it is working correctly, personally, I think that this is cool because it changes up the norm a lot, but it is good to have a couple hotspots, so I'm curious what comes of the current hotspots for each map when they start dropping really crappy loot. We see it already with labs where you'll be lucky to get out with some good attachments, some stims, and maybe a GP coin, so it's pretty much dead. Maybe there's going to be waves that sweep through the entire area of Tarkov, where maybe right now labs is trash and Woods is good, but tomorrow Woods is trash and factory is good. This dynamic loot system might not hit specific rooms on locations. They might just be the entire location in general has been buffed or nerfed from day to day. So that's why it's good to check this stuff out. If you guys do find anything special in a new place, post it up in the Discord or on Reddit at least, because if this is the new norm, we're going to need to start tracking the new spawns. Speaking of Discord, we got a great LFG and do community events every every weekend. We played Arma last night with 30 people, and it surprisingly went really well. We're going to be doing it again tonight. The link is in the description if you're interested. But that is all for now, guys. For the latest Tarkov news, check out these playlists here. If you like this video, then you know the drill. Please subscribe. I really appreciate the people who do. Otherwise, I hope you have a nice day. See you guys.